protect it from the other side, that I'm not afraid of anything anymore. I can't afford to be. So if I encounter dark things and I have to do a cleansing, I have enough faith that I push that thing and drive it out and pretty much kill it.
Okay. Now, how about voodoo? Have you run across people that are practicing voodoo?
Apparently, since moving from the West Coast over to this side here, which is southern, and a lot more practices like that, and I'm close to Haiti now. Well, that's another thing, you know, some of my clients, they come and they're like, I know I've got a spell on me. Everything is going wrong in my life. And I tell them, do you think that maybe things are just going wrong and that there isn't such a thing as a spell? You know, it's quite ridiculous. I know it's more prevalent over on this side, but, you know, if people start believing there's a spell, then there might as well be, because you've given it strength by just believing in it. So I feel that if you don't give it that strength and just dispel it, it's already starting to dissipate. So I've encountered people even call me and ask me if they could put a spell and make their ex-boyfriend fall in love with them again. And I'm like, God, after I hang up, I think, do people really do this? Do people really call for this kind of stuff? I just don't do it. And, you know, sometimes they get mad at me because they're like, why don't you do spells? I'm like, that's not what I'm about. I don't cast them. I don't undo them. I just don't do spells.
Hey, so you just proved a point for me. When I was in junior high school, a mail order out of some magazine, I bought some love potion. And I had this crush on this girl since like third grade all the way to junior high school. And I bought this love potion, saved up, you know, cutting grass and all this stuff. It never worked. Never worked.
Or did it?
Well, maybe she fell in love with somebody else, but she never fell in love with me. I'll tell you that. But
oh, yeah. Did you also order sea monkeys?
Actually, yeah, and ants too. So.
Yeah. Oh my God, the ants! I did the ants. My story was actually a quick story about the ant farm. So I ordered some of those ants.
Did your mom get mad too?
No, but so the package was opened and the ants dropped out, and my dog ate the ants. We had an Alaskan wolf Malamute, and I wrote the company and I said what was it, Milton Ant Farm, I think, and I said, could you send me some more ants, please, for free? My dog ate the ants. So one day I'm watching a TV show, like a talk show, and they go, yes, and we got this letter from this girl in Alaska, and she said, could you send us some ants because the dog ate the ants? And I was like, that girl, that was me. They used my story online and made fun of it, and I thought that, you know, that wasn't nice. I mean, it was a true story, but they used it. They thought it was so funny that the dog ate the ants, because the container fell out of the package when I got inside, and the dog ate the whole container with the ants. So I had the farm, but no ants to put in there. So I did get another little container of free ants.
I just remember, I think I was like in grade school, and I got an ant farm, right? And my mom came so livid. For some reason, they got all through the house and they were everywhere. And I tell you, she was not happy, you know. And then my seahorses never did anything. They never, you know. And I think if they did, they were like so small you could never see them, you know.
Little shrimp. I remember looking at them, and they looked nothing like, you know, because there was a mommy and daddy had a little pipe, and mom was vacuuming, and they were not doing at all what the little ad in the paper said. They didn't look like that at all.
Well, the good old days, and I'm quite a bit older than you, and I
good old fashioned. This was before Xbox Live, just good, clean family fun.
Not really. Yeah. And then I remember, I remember my daughter had to have 2 hamsters, and what happened within 3 months, our house was because they got out of their cage, and all of a sudden, you know, we go in the kitchen to cook dinner, and all of a sudden you see this hamster pop its head out of the burner of the stove. Oh boy, the good old days. I'm glad I'm old now, not going through it. So if
Oh my God.
so if all of a
Yes.
sudden you get a package in the mail from somebody you don't know, and there's like chicken feet in it and some other weird stuff.
Oh
So
my God. Don't give people ideas.
the reason why I'm saying that, I had a guest on the show that was telling me that I guess like in voodoo, that's some of the things you got to watch out for. And maybe maybe they can't put a spell on you, but I mean, if you open a package up and all of a sudden you see chicken feet and chicken legs and some weird stuff in there, and it would scare me.
Well, yeah, if I even smell that, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm not even sure I'd bother opening chicken
Yeah.
because it's too gross. I'd be like, yuck. Yeah, but I mean, I think also I'm a big believer in if you do good, good will happen to you. I think bad things happen to bad people. I have clients come to me and ask me, why is everything going wrong? And, you have to think back. Did you do some things? Is there some leftover karma that you didn't pay? Because everyone should be having a really good life. So if your life is duty, you probably did something to deserve it. So you have to think back and you have to undo it. You have to undo the karma so that you can move forward without all those bad things happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I just boy, you got me thinking a lot of things here. So I mean, so where would you actually have to worry about like having entities, like following you home and having bad things happen, like, your pots and pans go flying around your house and blood running down the walls and stuff like that. I mean,
oh, wow. Okay. Too much medieval horror for you.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So let's go back. Okay. If you go and do investigations at haunted locations like asylums, which there aren't that many left in America, and half of them aren't even open anymore, jailhouses, what used to be brothels, those kind of places harbor a lot more perverted kind of energy. Those kind of ghosts are very caught up. Ghosts also tend to continue to do what they did on this earth. So if they were a gambler, or if they had sexual cravings, drug cravings, they will latch onto that type of environment and that kind of person because they want to continue that. So bars, anything where there's very low vibrational types of people hanging out will cause attraction to the same kind of low vibrational ghosts, because ghosts tend to latch on to what they used to do. So at bars, you're going to find drunken ghosts, and you might find more dark, murderous type of in the jail. So they're attracted to the living that do similar habits that they did when they were alive.
And can they actually, take over your body too, and stuff like that? I mean, I watched, I guess, maybe too much sci-fi, but I mean, have you ever had anybody actually, so how can I say it, demonized? So
well, that's a new way to put it. Well, there's three forms of demonic possession. First, it starts with an attachment, which means it latches on. Then it's an oppression, which means it gets in the house and starts messing with everybody in the house. It usually makes everyone fight, so it can start separating people. It makes people sick. It kills people with illnesses. And then the final thing is that it finds the weakest person that it can in the house, and it latches on, and then it starts taking over its body because it needs somebody. It needs arms and legs, and it needs to be able to move around because it's just this energy, and it needs to actually latch onto somebody and become that person. So, yes.
So somebody that basically is how can I say it? A demon, attaches to that person. Actually, might not even be that same person anymore. They could actually be then that demon, that's taking control of their body totally.
Well, exactly. And sometimes, like, I watched one person and they looked at me and their eyes became solid black. Like there wasn't any white on their eyes. And that's when I knew. I was like, oh, crap, this person is gone. Usually the person that is under the influence of the demon will act very aggressive. They will get angry out of the blue. They'll be very short. All this kind of odd behavior, especially if somebody is not acting themselves. That might be a small red flag that something is about to get worse.
Well, and has there any been situations where they couldn't cleanse the demon out of the person? I mean, I had a priest on my show here a few weeks back, and he said that there's been a couple of them that when they exorcised him, that they couldn't get rid of it. It just came right back.
It depends on the strength of the demon. In my case, the ones that attacked me, one was pretty wimpy, but it still did a lot of damage. It slammed into my bed. It ripped a painting off the wall. Then the second one had a little bit more strength. It depends on, some of them are weaker ones. Other ones require a little bit more work to get rid of. They're very patient, so they may seem like they disappeared, but they will stand in the corner and watch you for days and months until they feel like they will come at you again. And usually when you think everything is good and you're at your strongest, then all of a sudden they lash out again, and then, your whole psyche has been diminished once again. So I have learned that they're very patient. I mean, they have forever. Time doesn't exist for them. So whether they attack you in a year or every 3 days, in my case, it really doesn't matter to them. It's when they feel up to it. It's kind of a game to them. They're toying with the humans anyway, so they'll take however long it takes. But some can be, some take a little more work. But that brings me to another thing. That's why I always try to tell people, despite all these movies with the Ouija boards and all this calling and let's go conjure up, let's make a circle and conjure up something and open up a portal. It's no joke. When these things get in and you open up a portal and you use these damn Ouija boards, you are messing with something that should be left alone, because it truly does open up everything, and then everything starts coming through. And it can be closed, but it takes a lot of work to close these portals. And Ouija boards, don't even buy one. Don't joke about it. Don't even, if you have one, burn it. It's not a joke. You don't know how many times I've sat here and had to clean up clients who had things, the dog died out of the blue, everything. And then all of a sudden, as I'm listening to this story, I go, did you ever play with a Ouija board? Oh, no. Are you sure? Anything? Oh, yeah, when my sister and I were 5, we did something, or 6. And I'm like, okay, so this is why all this has been happening. And this person's like 30 years old, but it is now, reverted back to, all of this can be traced back to back then. They didn't realize what they were doing, and now all these deaths in the families and pets dying was because of this. So I can't stress enough, it's no joke, it's not a game, it's not a movie on the big screen. Ouija boards are nothing to mess with. It's just best not to even open that can of worms.
Well, can't they also, you get one, right, and you open up and you think you're talking to, let's say, your Aunt Bertha, right? But actually, you're not talking to your Aunt Bertha. You're talking to some demon that's pretending to be your Aunt Bertha and is giving you all the information you want to, hear. And then all of a sudden, they start giving you bad information, and then you can't get rid of them.
Well, and that's the thing. They can mimic other things. So unless you know for sure who you're dealing with, you could be getting something that isn't at all what you thought. Light things, good